Welcome back to Newton Economics in the Office of Asymmetric Information. We just want to refresh you on point number 5. This is a critical point in tax relief component of our little asymmetric information cake that we're getting ready to ice with paradoxical information. The reevaluation of properties in a town will not result in an increase in the revenues to be raised by taxes, but will ensure that a collection of taxes will be fairly and equitably distributed amongst the properties throughout the town. So what they've argued the whole time with this reevaluation is it's going to be revenue neutral. This is what they've argued. Okay? So some assessments, taxable assessments, will increase, and other taxable assessments will decrease. So there's not going to be any change in revenue. The problem is they don't understand economics. They don't understand rational economic decision making. Because a rational economic decision maker changes the status quo when they expect the benefits to exceed the costs. So in my case, when my taxes increase 200 to 300%, what do you think I'm going to do? You think I'm just going to afford that and pay that for the sake of an equitable distribution? I can't afford to do that. So I'm going to go down, because my taxes are low now, I don't have any exemptions. No star exemption, no veterans exemption, because I don't need it. My taxes are low. So I'm going to go down to the tax assessor's office. I'm going to stand in line with everyone else's taxes who significantly increased. And we're going to file exemptions. I do not expect to see a line of people whose assessments decreased standing in line to give up their exemptions and to cancel. Why would they? They wouldn't. So we're going to have a revenue negative assessment that's going to drop. Let's say, for the sake of argument, it's going to drop 3 to 7%. There's a 2% tax cap. So if the town, everything funded by the town, such as a school and a library, has a 3 to 7% hole in its budget, and they can only raise taxes 2%, now you understand why it's important to understand tax relief associated with the Nevele they're promising, and whether or not the payback period will be within 7 years, and what are the cash flows associated with the Nevele. What's the internal rate of return? What's the net present value? What's the modified internal rate of return? What are your capital budgeting decision methods? If you're going to claim all this tax relief, why don't you quantify it? Oh, that's right, you're using asymmetric information against the people. So that I don't oppose casino gaming. Okay, here's my Treasure Island, Las Vegas, Nevada t-shirt. I've spent time in casinos in Las Vegas. I've spent time in casinos in Atlantic City. I've spent time in casinos in Tampa, Seminole Hard Rock Indian Cafe. I've spent time in casinos in Puerto Rico. I would be more than happy to take $40 down to Nevele and double it or triple it on the roulette table, playing odd and even, and whatever they're playing, black and red. I could play that. I could go double my money, triple my money down there in a couple hours. So I don't have a moral or ethical objection to casino gaming. I'm just not for casino oligarchs and local politicians using asymmetric information in order to get the population to cheerlead for the casino oligarchs. Not having it. So now, the cake is constructed. Let's begin to ice it with paradoxical logic. We have to assume the casino is going to go through and it's going to happen. Now, we got a bunch of zoning laws, okay? Let's think about the markets that are going to be created once a casino comes in. Let's get beyond all this idealistic job creation and all this idealistic tax relief, and let's get down to realistic brass tacks of what is going to occur and what kind of markets are going to be created when the casino opens. Two of the first main markets are going to be a market for fast money and easy credit. Now, New York State has pretty strict laws on pawnbroking, so there's going to be a bunch of pawn shops opening to satisfy the market for fast money. Where are they going to be zoned? Where are they going to be regulated? So you have to think about that. Easy credit. Now, payday loans are illegal in New York, and loan sharking are illegal in New York. But cocaine and heroin are also illegal in New York. And there's a market for that, is there not? Is there not people supplying cocaine and heroin because they expect the benefits of doing so to outweigh the costs? And there's a demand for it? So there's also going to be demand for payday loans and loan sharking, and the market mechanism is going to work, and that's going to be provided. How are you going to account for that? Now, along with the fast money and easy credit is going to open up markets for alcohol, drugs, and sex. And there's nothing in the town code that talks about the financial aspects and economic aspects, which I wish it would, because I'd rather be talking about that. I'd rather be talking about the pawnbroking regulations and the payday loan and loan sharking regulations, but that's not there. And the alcohol is statewide. So what is contained, and the drugs are statewide, but that's illegal, but it occurs anyway because there's a market for it and people supply it because they expect more benefits and costs of doing so. So what else do we have? Well, in the town code we have adult uses, which covers the sex element. So unfortunately I have to talk about that because they don't have anything else for me to go off. So you go to a casino, you go to a casino area, there's strip clubs and there's massage parlors, are there not? I mean, that's realistic. That's absolutely realistic. Now we begin to ice the cake with paradoxical logic. Where, what do I mean by that? What I mean by that is the adult uses zoning laws are good, strict laws, but they are bad precisely because they are good. I hope you're still following me with that. The adult uses laws in the town where we're working are good, yet they are bad precisely because they're good. And let me go in and explain that. The first one, if you want to read through a little background information, we'll start out with number 6. Activities covered by this zoning law. Because they are known to encourage prostitution, increase sexual assaults, and attract criminal activity, the following activities, shall not be permitted in any adult-oriented or other business or any other public place in the town of Woolworth. Alright, so the following activities will not be allowed in any adult-oriented or other business. 1. Public appearance by a person knowingly or intentionally engage in a specified sexual activity. And then they don't specify any of the sexual activities. The knowing and intentional public appearance of a person in a state of nudity. So the knowing intentional public appearance of a person in a state of nudity is not permitted in an adult-oriented business? The touching of patrons or the performance by any entertainer in an adult use facility within 6 feet of the nearest person. Sale of alcoholic beverages is permitted. Okay, so let's maybe you may not want to, and if you don't, turn this off, but let's think about this from the sense of paradoxical logic. It's a good law, but it's bad precisely because it's good. So, in respect, let's not even get into massage parlors. Let's get into, dance clubs, let's call them. The following activities shall not be permitted in any adult-oriented business. Public appearance by a person knowingly or intentionally engaged in specified sexual activities. The knowing and intentional public appearance of a person in a state of nudity. So if that's not allowed to occur in public in one of these buildings, where is it going to occur? It's going to occur private. It's going to occur in a VIP room, whatever room off to the side. So if you're trying to regulate and you're trying to reduce prostitution, increase sexual assaults, and criminal activity, would this not be easier regulated in some kind of public main room? And instead of you walk in, all right, you can't buy any booze, you can buy a soda or milkshake, and then you go pay to get in one of these side rooms where all this other stuff occurs because it's not allowed to occur out in public. Paradoxical logic. So if you have paradoxical logic just in the adult uses law, just imagine a paradoxical logic in the financial services contained with the pawnbroking, and the zoning about that, and the payday loans and loan sharking, and all this stuff. So this is asymmetric information, paradoxical logic involved with this casino. How are you going to do it right? How are you going to reduce the negative impact of all this stuff? I mean, they tried to do it here by making a good, solid law. But the reason a law is bad is because it's good. It doesn't make any sense. You go to an adult place, you go to an adult strip club, and the knowing intentional public appearance in a person of stated nudity is not allowed. So it's not going to be in public. It's going to be in private, in some private little cave or whatever they're doing in there. And that's going to encourage prostitution because it's not public, it's private. It's going to encourage sexual assault because it's private and not public. It's going to encourage criminal activity. Paradoxical logic iced all over the asymmetric information cake. And the following pages of the thing are just stuff. I've been screaming and yelling about this since November, since it started. You want more information, go do it there. But this is what we're faced with in Woolworthing. And this all interlaps and interlocks with the DEC and their tunnel leak and their contamination associated with it. It's all interlocking asymmetric information all over the town. And the media has failed to address it. The politicians have failed to address it. And that's why Newton Economics is an information revealing system that was created in this town that is suffering from economic malpractice like you could not even imagine. And we're inventing and creating jobs such as Externality Task Force Commander, Asymmetric Information Officer. So thank you again. Enjoy your weekend. Stay tuned.